How's it going, everybody? Sorry if my mic sounds bad. I'm changing setup right now. Anyways, today we are reviewing Pink by Boris. Now, important to note, there are two different versions of this album. Basically, there's the streaming version, which is the original CD release, and then there is a vinyl version that adds quite a bit to the track list. The songs are all the same, but there's about 30 more minutes of music, so it's pretty substantial. Let's talk about the CD version first. That's the one on streaming. Pink is a very mixed bag in my opinion. It is very I guess directionless. It sounds more like a playlist at a lot of times. The album definitely lacks a good amount of cohesion. Don't get me wrong though, there is definitely a level of quality throughout the entire album. Everything is really good across the board. It seems like they had different ideas. We have songs like Farewell, which are these long, more dronier, ambient, sad, and mournful songs that sound amazing, this like drone metal sort of stuff. And then we have other songs like Woman on the Screen or Pink that are just very straight up metal. They go hard as fuck. They sound great. They're not bad songs by any means. Woman on the Screen is probably one of my favorite songs on this album. But there's a disconnect, you feel me? Like I'm like, why is this on the same album? And it's not like the track list like meshes them together for it to make sense. It really just feels like, here you fucking go. Here's a bunch of shit. Especially on the CD version where we have Farewell as the intro, and then we have like a bunch of the shorter, more traditional, as somebody who doesn't know anything about metal, traditional metal sounding song. And then just right at the end, we have Just Abandon Myself, which it just feels really out of place and kind of weird. I think the track listing on the CD version, While I like all the songs on the CD version, I do think the just complete fucking difference on a lot of these tracks as they whip back and forth, the complete lack of cohesion definitely makes it less enjoyable for me personally. I do think all the songs on here are good. I just think as a whole album, it's kind of whatever. So I'm going to give the streaming / CD version of Pink by Boris a 6 out of 10. Now moving on to the vinyl version, the one that I will link below, the one that I highly recommend you check out if you like Pink, if you like Boris and haven't heard it somehow. First off, track listing, way better. We have a sort of gradual descent, right? We start with Pink as the intro, and then we slowly go down into the more atmospheric, larger, longer tracks. It feels like there was much more of an idea here. We're having our more generic, again, as somebody who doesn't know metal songs, and then we slowly descend into this darker, more atmospheric, long, abrasive sound that Boris is pretty much known for. For the first 7 tracks, the track listing switched up a bit, but besides that, the songs have not really changed. The last 4 tracks are where it's different. Pseudo-Bread, which is one of the best songs off of the album, the original version, the CD one, is now 10 minutes long. And I will say, of the longer songs, this one is definitely feels a bit kind of forced. Basically, Pseudo-Bread is pretty much the same, except on the second half, after the original, 5-minute version, it's just a wall of noise for like 5 minutes. Feels a bit kind of whatever in my opinion. Now, one of the biggest differences on here, besides obviously the outro, which I'll talk about in a moment, is My Machine. My Machine on the original streaming CD version, right? It's like a minute and a half or something, right? And it's just kind of a small reprieve. On this version, it's 10 minutes. It's just expanded, right? It's this contemplative, moody, atmospheric song that has one of the best guitar solos I've heard from Boris. Obviously, I haven't seen too much of their discography. You can see my review of Flood and Feedbacker. I'm not too well versed, but this is on par with like Flood guitar solos. I'm being serious. It's amazing. It's amazing and it's slept on. Please go listen to this. Farewell is pretty much the same, but the 3 minutes that is added onto it that makes it a now 10-minute track definitely help expand its atmosphere, its mood, its just melancholiness on the track, and I love it for it. And of course, Just Abandon Myself is now like a 20-minute song. While it's not my favorite on the album, I think this longer version definitely is far more interesting than the one on the CD. The song starts off as one of the more abrasive, more traditional metal songs, and then we slowly get like melted and eaten by this feedback, this noise, and we can still hear some instruments here and there as they get taken away. And it's just a much more interesting outro for Pink. That being said, I still think the kind of contrast of these more generic, large quotation rock songs, and then the more interesting, atmospheric, more drone metal-ish songs is there. There's a large contrast, you can see it, and it feels a bit kind of off. But I think the track listing this way makes it make a lot more sense. It feels like it flows much better as an album. And I think the added time on majority of the tracks are a very nice touch, especially on My Machine, which I think is a shame that that isn't just on the original version. That being said, I do think the added wall of noise on Pseudo-Bread is kind of whatever. I see how it works in the track list though, as like this wall of noise, and go to My Machine, which is much calmer in comparison. But I think it goes on for too long. And as cool as I think Just Abandon Myself is, I do think it goes on for a bit long. I don't think it should be as short as the CD version, but I think this version could have been a minute or two shorter. That being said, I think this version is far better than the CD streaming version. While it still has its flaws, I'd give the vinyl version of Pink by Boris 8 out of 10 easily. Please check this out. If you've only heard the one on streaming, you will probably like this more, in my opinion. I'm just calling it now. Tell me your thoughts about Pink by Boris in the comments below. Do you like it? Do you not like it? You know, all that good stuff. Tell me what you'd like to see me review next. The next review, I believe, is Animals by Pink Floyd. That will come out when it comes out. I'm kind of switching setups right now. I'm getting a new microphone, so if the microphone sounds bad on this video, I apologize. I'm getting a new one soon. And yeah, check out the Patreon if you like what I do. It's $1, one tier. There's some unreleased footage there, and it gets shouted out at the end like this. So thank you, Srme, Favri, and Poppy John for supporting the channel. Appreciate you guys a lot, and thank you for watching, and have a good day.